But let's go ahead and get into the second segment, which is going to be about the Thunder and the Denver Nuggets. Now, in this matchup, the Thunder ended up prevailing 102-87. Excuse me. I predicted yesterday that the Denver Nuggets were going to end up winning this game, but the game was close, and neither of those happened in this game. The Thunder ended up winning, and the game wasn't close. The final score was 102-87. And really, it's like the key takeaway that I got from this game is that the Thunder might be better this season than what I thought. And they were really good last season. And then the Denver Nuggets might be a little bit worse than what I thought in to start the season. I didn't think that I knew the team got worse. I knew Denver didn't really get better in the offseason, but I didn't really think that would affect them as much as it did in this game. I thought Jokic was going to handle it really well. I thought that the lineup that they had was still rather solid, but I didn't really, and I thought this game would be close, but I didn't expect the Thunder to just straight up steamroll through the Nuggets whenever they could. And in this matchup, you can make the argument that Chet Holmgren ended up outplaying last year's MVP, Nikola Jokic. Jokic ended with a triple-double. Of course he did. 16 points, 12 rebounds, and 13 assists. However, Chet Holmgren ended the game with 25 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 4 blocks, and ended up shooting 11 for 15 from the field. Now, he went 0 for 5 from 3, which is like the only real problem, in this game for Chet Holmgren. But aside from that, he was still absolutely phenomenal in this game and played very well against last year's MVP. SGA, of course, he played well. 11 for 24 from the field. Not really as efficient as you'd expect, but again, it's just under 50%. And he ended the game with 28 points. He took 6 3-pointers in this game, ended up going 2 for 6 from the line. Not the line, from the 3-point line, and 4 or 5 at the free throw line. He also recorded 8 assists along with 7 rebounds and 3 blocks along with 2 steals. So these two, they're phenomenal. But we've seen it last year, and we know how good they are as a team. They ended up, Aaron Wiggins ended up going 7 for 9 from the field, ended with 15 points as well. Jalen Williams didn't really have a solid shooting night, but it didn't really matter because, again, they just ended up steamrolling through the Denver Nuggets. Jalen Williams ended the game 5 for 16 from the field, 2 for 8 from 3, along with 12 points. Again, not that efficient. And Isaiah Joe also didn't really play that efficient in this game. 3 for 10, 7 points, 1 of 6 from 3. But again, that doesn't really matter. Now, imagine if these key players in Jalen Williams, this key player, ends up shooting the ball very well. How much would their lead be, and how much would they outscore the Denver Nuggets in this game had they shot the ball to the best of their ability? That's really like the big scary factor in what I'm thinking about. Now, for the Denver Nuggets, again, I mentioned Jokic dropping a triple-double, but the rest of the lineup was rather mediocre. Every single starter was in double digits, but again, the key players in this game weren't all that impressive, to say the least. Michael Porter Jr. ended the game shooting 5 for 17 from the field and 3 of 10 from 3, which again is not ideal. Christian Braun was one of the leading scorers for the Nuggets as well, 8 for 15, but 0 for 3 from 3 with 16 points. And let's look at the box scores. He also ended up recording 7 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks, which is helpful. But the second best player on the team, or who's supposed to be the second best player on the team, Jamal Murray, ended up going 4 for 13 and 2 of 5 from 3 with only 12 points. Now, you can make the argument that Jamal Murray just wasn't playing the Lakers, and that's why he was playing so bad. But again, this is we expect Jamal Murray to play considerably well, especially with Jokic dropping a triple-double, but that just didn't happen, and that was one of the reasons why the Denver Nuggets ended up struggling in this game. Not the main reason. Now, what was the main reason why Denver was struggling and why they ended up losing this game? Russell Westbrook. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Like, any of you Russell Westbrook fans out there, you're probably immediately going to disagree with this take just because Westbrook plays hard and he never stops moving and he always tries to play to win and all this, that, and the other, all the Westbrook positive things that you can say about him. But now the Denver Nuggets are experiencing the Russell Westbrook effect early in the season. Russell Westbrook only hit 2 shots in this game. He recorded 6 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, ended with 2 blocks. But again, he went 2 for 10 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3, and 1 of 4 from the line. He only made 2 shots in the entirety of the game. And it's not like he was playing only 21 minutes in this game. But in those 21 minutes that he was on the court, the Denver Nuggets were minus 24 as a team. They got outscored 52-28 when Russ was on the court, compared to when Russ wasn't on the court, where they outscored OKC by 9, outscoring them 59 to 50. So they had a plus 9 rating, box plus minus as a team with Russell Westbrook off the court in 27 minutes, compared to having a minus 24 when Russ was on the court in 21 minutes. Like, this is bad. This is really, really bad. And I mentioned that Russell Westbrook, he can bring a lot of good to a roster, but this was a lot of bad that I was talking about with the Denver Nuggets. The whole system is ran through Jokic. Jokic needs solid three-point shooters. Having Russell Westbrook take as many threes as he did is not ideal. Having Russell Westbrook shoot like this and be a detriment to your team is not ideal. And OKC was able to capitalize almost every single time that Russell Westbrook was on the court. He is a detriment to some of these teams, and he could be a detriment to the Denver Nuggets, which is why I think that the Nuggets aren't going to be as good of a team as I thought they were going to be, regardless of the fact that they ended up getting worse in their roster. I already mentioned that I know that they got worse in their roster, but I didn't think it would really affect them as much. This one performance coming in from Russell Westbrook, I know it's not the end-all be-all, but it could spell some serious problems for the Denver Nuggets trying to reclaim their spot as the best in the West. And OKC was just able to capitalize on all of Russell Westbrook's mistakes. I mean, it was pitiful. It was terrible. And it's undeniable at this point that every single time he steps on the court, at least in this game alone, they got outscored. Like, it's clear cut. It's too clear cut to not blame this game on Russell Westbrook. I'm sorry to say this, and I might be a little bit harsh on Russ, but again, he brings a lot of good, but when he's not bringing a lot of good, he brings a lot of bad. And that's something that some Westbrook fans don't really realize, that he's not the same player that he was previously. And I understand the Nuggets, they might be forcing him to play under a system that isn't really beneficial to his game, but are you seriously going to have the offense ran through Russell Westbrook as opposed to having it ran through Jokic? I don't think so. I'm not saying that Jokic played perfect in this game either, but having a triple-double, and Westbrook fans should know, scoring a triple-double should immediately absolve every single problem that Nikola Jokic brought into this game. Like, I don't personally agree with that. I don't think that. That's just some Westbrook fans and their thought process when Westbrook scores a triple-double. So I'm just playing devil's advocate with that right here. But in my personal opinion, I think Jokic should have and could have been much more efficient in this game. Not to mention he got outplayed by Chet Holmgren. You can make the argument whether he got outplayed or not, but I personally think that he got outplayed by Chet in this matchup. So the Nuggets, they might be in for a lot of trouble going into this season, and the only real hope for them to making it out of the first round is if they get matched up against the Lakers in the first round and Jamal Murray just turns into Michael Jordan like he always does. And for the Thunder, they might be much, much better than most of the teams in the Western Conference. Again, we have to see, because this could just be the Denver Nuggets playing bad and has nothing to do with the overall skill of OKC. But again, hindsight's 2020. We have to see going into the rest of the season. So that's it for this game and that recap. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about the next game, which is going to be the Minnesota Timberwolves matching up against the Sacramento Kings. This one was the It was the only close game of the of yesterday, and despite that, it wasn't nationally televised. So I didn't really watch all of it. I didn't get to watch the game, but I will give my opinions on it just based off of the box scores and from what I know happened in that game. So I'll be right back after this short break.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.